Alright, let's start with the obvious. A 22-year-old midfielder moving for up to £30 million. That's not just a transfer, it's a statement. But here's what immediately catches my eye: this isn't some Premier League giant overpaying for a name. This is Fulham, a club that's historically been cautious with spending, suddenly betting big on a kid who's never played top-flight football regularly. And he's Northern Irish? Let's be real, this valuation is less about proven elite performance and more about potential, hype, and maybe even a bit of gambling. But I'll unpack that. Now, the fee itself, £26 million upfront, plus £4 million in add-ons. That base fee alone already shatters the previous Northern Irish transfer record, Wayne Britton's £4.5 million move in 2001. But wait, if we adjust for inflation, that 2001 fee would be over £7 million today. So yes, Charles is still a massive leap. But does that make sense? Let's think. He's 22, decent but not elite stats, 6 goals, 2 assists in 38 games, and a loan spell in League One. This feels like a club buying a lottery ticket with a high floor, not a sure thing. And Fulham's new manager Alvaro Arbeloa, ex-Real Madrid, might be pushing for these aggressive moves to reshape the squad fast. Here's a twist I find fascinating: Charles's brother, Piers, is a goalkeeper who just left Sheffield Wednesday to rejoin Manchester City, then immediately got loaned to QPR. So both brothers are now in London, playing for clubs within 20 minutes of each other. Sibling rivalries? Family dinners dissecting tactics? Or just a smart agent strategy? It's a detail that feels cinematic, like a Netflix docu-series waiting to happen. But beyond the family angle, this highlights how interconnected modern football careers are, especially for young players emerging from academy systems like Manchester City's, where Shea came through before Southampton poached him. Let's zoom out: Fulham's entire summer strategy. They've already spent £42 million on 2 Real Madrid players, Sol Diop, Wilson, and Jimenez, and now this? It's a roster rebuild under new management, literally and figuratively. Arelo's replacing Marco Silva, and instead of continuity, they're pivoting to a younger, more athletic squad. But does that make sense after finishing 13th last season? Or is this a gamble to avoid mid-table mediocrity by betting on hunger and potential? The risk here is obvious: if Charles flops, £30 million becomes dead money. But maybe Fulham sees something we don't, a hidden gem in championship matches that Premier League scouts overlooked. Wait a second, though, remember the espionage scandal? Southampton got kicked out of the playoffs for spying on opponents. Charles scored in the semi-final win over Middlesbrough, but then the whole saga imploded. How much does that chaos affect a young player's mentality? Is he resilient enough to handle off-field drama, or does that hint at a club in disarray he's now escaping? And Fulham, having sold their own defensive rock in Diop, now leaning on a 22-year-old to shore up midfield? This feels like a chess move, sacrificing experience for upside, hoping youth outpaces inconsistency. But here's the deeper question: why now? Leeds chased him for £20 million earlier this summer. Fulham waited, negotiated, and paid 50% more. Is this about outmaneuvering rivals, or did Charles force the issue? Young players today have agents who study wage structures, projected minutes, and development opportunities like stock analysts. Maybe he saw Fulham's project as a faster track to Premier League minutes than staying at Saints. And let's not ignore the Premier League's financial gravity. Fulham can offer a bigger stage, even if it's not guaranteed starting 11 minutes, yet. To me, this deal symbolizes a shift in how clubs value youth. It's not just about current ability but future resale value. A £30 million move today could look like a bargain in 2 years if he explodes. But if he stalls? It's a sunk cost in an era where fans demand instant returns. I'm torn. On one hand, paying £30 million for a championship midfielder feels reckless. On the other, if you're going to gamble, why not bet on raw talent with a clean slate rather than fading stars? Either way, Shea is now the most expensive Northern Irish player ever. That headline alone will fuel debates in Belfast pubs for years. But as a neutral, I'm here for the chaos. Is this a genius masterstroke or a cautionary tale waiting to unfold? Let's hit the comments. Do you think Fulham just found their next star, or are they overpaying for potential?